Welcome to Signature Required. It is intended for Tennesseans by Tennesseans. The heart of a Tennessean, the volunteer state, is serve, and we do so largely without self-promotion.
And these are genuine people that get up every day and want to make art, or want to educate the nations, or want to have a heart of love in a way that makes a difference.
Learn from 50 years of experience, take a nugget away, and then go share it with a friend. Stacey Nickens, welcome to Signature Required.
Hi, I'm happy to be here.
You are the Vice President of Corporate Communications and Marketing for the Metropolitan Nashville Airport Authority. For those that are just listening to us, you really need to turn on the video because we are in a really sweet spot here where people are rolling down the escalators, looking at what's going on here. We've got a pretty good setup here.
Absolutely. You're in our central terminal, which is huge for us because for a while we had two terminals during the construction. So this was a really big part of our BNA vision to have one central checkpoint.
So how long have you been with the airport? Because depending upon this answer, we have a lot of things that we can talk about. So how long have you been here?
I started here in 2019. It was 6 years on June 10th.
Wow. So you came right before the fun part for COVID and all the rest,
Right
all the
there for it.
construction.
Really low stress. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Low stress.
Low stress.
So what is it that is your primary role here with the airport?
So I'm responsible for all the internal, external communications, the advertising, the PA, all the announcements that you hear with the celebrity voices, the music program, Arts at the Airport, which also includes our art that you see hanging behind me, as well as the music. We have the BNA shop, which is new for us, where we sell our merchandise, as well as the graphics and events team.
Oh my gosh. So just a few things.
That's just a few.
Really breezy. So you can't help but sit here and look behind us and see there's graphic art, there's visual arts, there's everything. So how did you even begin to eat the elephant of putting art throughout this huge space?
Well, coming on board, art has always been a very big part of Nashville International Airport. And so from 1986. So I'm coming on the history of what's already been established and just continue to elevate is what I like to do with the art. So all of this is all commissioned art that we have here. And we go through a very serious process with our Arts at the Airport's board to make sure we get the very best through the doors of BNA.
Now, Stacey, you used the word elevate, and so I'm only going to allow you a couple puns. So if that is a part of your normal dialect, I'm going to allow it. But like airport puns, that's the first one today. Okay?
That's it.
I say keep them coming. There will be no cap.
I am a fan of a dad joke.
The limit does not exist.
Yeah, that's right. Carly and I have had the opportunity to travel to a lot of airports across the country. And I'm born and raised here in Nashville. So I've seen this airport mature through just all that our city has gone through.
That's right.
And it's easy to observe that some airports are a disaster. I mean, they are terrible food, the experience is bad, and some of it is perhaps intentional, and probably most of it is just limited in what they have the flexibility to do. So the Nashville airport, I feel like, has hit its stride in the food is good here. The cleanliness is top notch. There's a lot of things going. We've got a hotel now. Why don't you walk through a couple of the highlights of the airport for our listeners that haven't been to the airport recently?
So all of the things that you are saying, I'm really excited to hear because so much of what we've done, we've been through our fair share of growing pains, right? You're from Nashville. People wanted to still pull up, pop their trunk, wait for their loved one, and leave. Well, we've grown so much from then, right? So to provide an experience that's good, not just for people who live in Nashville, but all over the world. So as far as the growth, we knew that we had to build an airport that can really compete with the growth that we were seeing in the city. We needed a new airport. So that was first, and that started with BNA Vision in 2017. It ended last year with the opening of the hotel in 2024. Now, the concessions program is really interesting. We started the Reimagine Concessions program to bring some of the brands that you've come to know and love, the brick and mortar that were on the streets of Nashville, through the doors of BNA. Why not have Parnassus Books here? I mean, why not have...
Oh, that's my favorite part
Yes,
of the
yes.
whole airport. I have to tell you, I actually get travel anxiety. I become a really horrible person when we travel. It's like I'm just like not my nicest self, but I am super motivated to get through security and go pick my book and get my coffee. And it's like it's made it a much easier experience coming to a place that I don't think I'm alone, that travel makes you a little anxious for some people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why is that, Stacey, that like for restaurants here, like Hattie B's is one of my favorite hot chicken
so good.
restaurants, and it's right through security. And
right.
there are tons like Voodoo Donuts. I mean,
right.
all these great choices for food. When I go to other airports, a lot of times the food is just dreadful. And I don't understand why. Like, what is it that Nashville is doing special that other airports have to recognize that the food is not there? Like, what is the secret sauce?
Well, I feel like we have a lot of quality control. Our concessions program is managed by Fraport. So Fraport USA is who manages our concession program, but it gives a lot of pride to those brands, those owners whose name is attached to it, to somehow have input on how they want to see their brand represented in the airport. So I think that's a big reason for the success. And people just work really hard here. We have some outstanding employees that really just want to see the best experience for all of our travelers.
Can I ask how many people work at the airport in concessions versus other spaces?
Yeah, it's very interesting that you asked that question. So if you have a badge, anyone that works here, we have over 11,000 badge holders.
Wow.
So that includes construction workers. Anyone who has to be on this premise has to take a security test. As far as the Metropolitan Nashville Airport Authority, we have 500 employees. Outside of that is a combination of our concession workers, our construction team, airline team. It's a combination of all those different elements that make up the remaining number that represents all the badge holders here.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Stacey, part of Carly and I's background is that we've worked alongside FedEx Ground for a lot of years and do package delivery for FedEx. So interestingly, I have been in parts of this airport having to deliver boxes past security that you just can't believe how big this place is. I mean, there are tunnels and avenues and secret entrances and all this stuff.
That's
where
right.
it reminds me of like an aircraft carrier where it is a floating city on the water. That really is the complexity here, is you've got to feed so many people. You've got to have arrangements for travel. What are some of the things that are complexities that maybe the average person that shows up just expects to come through security and get to their flight? What are some of those complexities?
Well, I'll give you an example. We went through 5 years of construction. The main goal for us was to make sure the passenger experience was not disrupted. How do you do that? How do you make that happen? But that was our goal. And that's what we worked hard for every single day, is to make sure your journey was seamless from the moment you exit your car until you got on the plane. And everything in between, things that we really can't control. We technically cannot control your experience at a concession, but we can pass on goodwill, right? To make sure your experience is great. So that was our main goal, is to ensure your journey was not disrupted and to work with all our partners to be aligned with us in that goal.
Girl, we just did a home renovation. Our life was disrupted. And I tell you, my kids were sleeping on the floor in the basement for 6 months. That is a true story. So that must have been a real job of logistics and thinking through all the mechanics. I can't even imagine.
And to sit here, I have to give kudos to the incredible team, from operations to engineering. We meet every single Thursday to work through all of these things. And we have met that long for 6 years. And we're still continuing because the construction is not over. We are now in New Horizon, which is the extension of Concourse D, which we'll discuss. I'll go over some of the details of what that project consists of. So every day we're striving to make sure that journey remains seamless.
Well, let's dive into that right
Okay.
now. So,
Okay.
Concourse D, I arrived on a flight about 10 days ago, and I saw the moving walkways
That's right.
in behind the curtains. I was sneaking in some places that maybe I wasn't supposed to see.
You
but
probably shouldn't put that on film.
yeah, that's right. So talk
Banned
to
from the
us
airport.
about what's coming in the near term, and then we'll look about what's coming in the medium and long term.
Okay, so July 8th, the Concourse D extension will open. 8 new gates, 10 new food, beverage, and retail locations. So we're pretty excited. 160,000 square feet of space, including a moving walkway. That's been a big request for passengers for a very long time. So to kind of be able to meet those needs is really exciting. But to be able to offer new flights, a new space where people can walk through the doors of B&A and experience like they've never experienced B&A before is a very exciting time for us.
We also have a project, maybe in the medium or long term, you can help me understand, that is going to include potentially a nonstop flight from Asia, right?
That's
and
right.
That's going to mean a longer runway. Is that part of what are some of the components that are going there?
So we're at the very beginning stages of that. So we're working with the FAA. We're years away, but it is a priority. First is the FAA getting involved and leading the environmental assessment of what their potential impact could be, and then from there it would be a longer runway. We're years away, but it's definitely top of mind. I will tell you that for sure.
But we've gotten so many new international non-stops. I mean, how much of that, I just have to ask as a Titans fan, as soon as we got that flight, right, to Europe, then the Titans played over there in London. So that's so fun for our city and for our state.
So I will tell you, in April of this year, we had our two first inaugural flights. The first one to Iceland, which was on April 10th, and on April 12th was our first nonstop to Ireland. I happened to be coming in on the inaugural flight from Iceland, and I cannot tell you the excitement that was on that flight. We cheered, we yelled. I forgot I was from Nashville. You would have thought I was from Iceland. I'm cheering, I'm tearing up like, wait, I live here. I'm excited, right? But just the excitement, the families, the children, everyone wants to come to Nashville and experience it, and vice versa. People are going to Iceland and Ireland. So people are excited, and that's what we want to happen. We want to continue to bring people here, and they take advantage of these nonstop destinations so we can continue to get new ones.
It's interesting to me how much it impacts family buying behavior, because the number of people that I know that went for fall break and then spring break to Iceland or Ireland or London was exponentially more than it used to be. And you would think you could puddle jump to Atlanta or Chicago and go, but there is something uniquely special about a direct flight leaving from your hometown or a short drive from your house that makes you want to purchase that experience.
I mean, I think nonstops are attractive and international if you haven't been. I mean, we all want to expose our children to new things.
Yeah.
And even ourselves. If you're traveling as a single person, you want to experience the world, and to be able to do that in your own city, I mean, that's pretty attractive.
That's cool.
I agree.
Stacey, what prepares you for this role that you started in 2019? Because what I hear in your answers is that you've got to be part construction supervisor. Clearly, you have to be an excellent communicator. You have to be personnel management. I mean, you have all these things. What prepared you to step into this role?
It's very interesting. I originally started as a director of customer experience. So my main job was to ensure the journey was seamless. I then was promoted to assistant vice president of corporate communications, and then on to vice president. So every touch point in my career since I've been here has been working to make sure I work with all the pertinent teams here at the airport to make sure I understand the facts, to communicate to the public, but to also make sure that I'm being transparent to represent the airport in a way that brings you back and forth to the airport, and something to make you proud of. We want B&A to be an airport for everyone to love, not just the employees. The employees can love it because we work here, right? But without your support and without your admiration, we couldn't do what we do.
I could imagine that when your friends and family fly with you, when you are in other airports, you're either probably the coolest person to be with or the most annoying person to be with because you see what nobody else sees. So which one is it on that spectrum?
I'm a perfect blend of both. From taking the pictures with my husband, he's like, what are you doing? I want to take a picture of this pet relief area. I think ours looks better. So
It matters.
That's right.
People love their pets, girl.
That's
Keep
right.
going. Yeah.
To be able to go and communicate that, but even if something as simple as signage, oh, they have a signage about this, maybe we should get this. Maybe, again, it'll make the passenger's journey easier, and it's make it easier for you to navigate an airport, because we know, as you said, there's a lot of anxiety that exists with a lot of travelers. I'm always looking at what can we do to make it easier, and so that's what I look for at airports.
What is one thing that might not currently be here, but that you have taken a selfie with somewhere else that is on your bucket list to add to BNA?
I think we have it, but I think having more of an area, we just have a mural up now that has all our international flights, and it gives people an interactive way to capture that. I would want more of those experiences, because for us, we want to engage with you. The more engagement we see, the more excited you are to come through the doors. So for us, it's just more engagement. We continue to get food. That's always a priority. We're still going to work on our retail options. We're going to keep working on our roadways, all the things that you know we'll do. But some of the more personal experiences is what I would want to see us do a little bit more of.
Detroit has an interesting interactive feature that you can take your ticket and once you're past security, you can scan it, and then it gives you a rendering of where you're about to go. And it's a pretty cool experience, especially for the kids, and give just something to be able to break up the intensity of going through an airport.
Yeah, just some of that interactive feeling. You say you travel with your kids. We have something like that now. We have smaller touch points, but to have it throughout the airport would be ideal.
Well, we have tween/teen daughters, and so they are very grateful for all your coffee beverage stations in this airport. I cannot get through security without them being like, Mama, have you put the Starbucks order in yet? But there is unique coffee options depending on what terminal you're in, and we fly them all. I really enjoy that.
So the barista parlor,
Yeah.
8th and Rose. I mean,
they're so good.
Kijiji coffee. We have them all over. So that, again, that's intentional as well. Because remember when we had the one Starbucks?
Oh
How
my
many people
gosh.
remember that?
Yeah.
There are about to be fights and hair pulling at that Starbucks.
We've come a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I have to ask, and I know they're all your babies. Like, you
Okay.
probably can't answer this question, but if you get a lunch break and you're like, I'm going to go sneak and eat my lunch somewhere, where is your hidden gem that people probably are overlooking food-wise?
I love them all. I'm going to
Of
start
course,
with
they're
that.
your babies, yes.
When I come across the street from where our office is, I go to Titan's Press Box.
Okay.
I don't know. I just get like a hometown feel when I go there. I like all of them, but it's just a nice place to sit down, people watch, and it's in the center of the airport. So I just like locations like that. It's open, and so that's why I typically go, because I'm getting away from the hustle and bustle over in the office just to sit down and relax. So I typically go over there.
Good people watching.
That's it.
Yeah.
I agree.
So, Stacey, amongst all of the good things that are coming here, there are always pinch points and pain points along the way. So, when we talk to people about the airport, the things that they'll want to be able to ask you if they were sitting here is saying, okay, what about parking and seeing full garages, full parking lots? Are there plans to address that? And they'll shortly follow that up sometimes with the traffic of the arrivals or departures. So can you speak to some of those for people that would say, I love everything that's going, but sometimes when I see my small city become a big city, we pick up a couple things along the way.
That's
that
right.
It's not that it can be solved tomorrow, but is there a plan to address those? So can you kind of touch on those two?
Absolutely. So I'll start with the traffic first, because that was the last piece of the puzzle to work with. So here's the deal. We're working with our TDOT partners. If it's on our property, we can move as fast as we want, but we have to work with TDOT on the other spaces surrounding the airport. They're phenomenal partners. So what you are seeing happening now, you are seeing them push back Donaldson Pike. Once they push back Donaldson Pike, we now have 3 lanes around our roadway. We call our ring road. We're going to go from 3 lanes to 6 lanes by
Oh, wow.
2028.
Okay.
That is going to help us accommodate all of this growth that you see here. It was the last piece of the puzzle for a number of reasons that it didn't move as fast as the other construction, but now we're on board to move forward. And that's what you see happening now. So that will be alleviated in just a little while. But you know what's going to happen? More people are going to continue to move to
We need
Nashville.
12 lanes of traffic.
That's right.
Yeah.
But we are moving from, so that 1 lane that we have now, the ring road that we have now is 3 lanes. That's 1 mile. We're going to go from 6 lanes. It's going to take us to 2 miles.
Okay.
We believe that is going to help alleviate the traffic that we see today. As far as parking, there are plans for new garages. They are forthcoming. We're a little bit down the road from some of those decisions, but yes, it is top of mind. Again, this growth is incredible. It's part of the growing pains, right?
Yeah.
We're growing fast. We're trying to accommodate, but it takes time to build money. But we're on it, and we promise we're going to deliver the airport that people have come to know and love, an airport to accommodate this growth that we're seeing.
Something else that has been a first for me is seeing different brands of carriers pop up here that, you're all used to your classic legacy
right.
carriers. You got Southwest and Delta and American United, all the classic ones, but there's some names here that I've never seen before, and I just wonder what that experience has been like as you're having to educate passengers and also deal with new carriers. Like, what has that been like?
Well, working with our air service development team, it's a privilege to get new air service. Because again, we're meeting the needs of passengers. Someone wants to fly where these flights are going and where these carriers are providing service. So for us, we educate them immediately. As soon as we get the go-ahead, we work directly with the airline. We're putting out press releases, media advisors. We're telling the story to get people more comfortable with the service. But for us, it's always a big deal anytime we get flights. The ones that have come out recently, some of the more unusual names have all been Canadian carriers. We fly to all the top 5 Canadian cities, and they all have different air carriers that offer that service outside of Air Canada, which has become the one that everyone knows.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to go into one topic area I can't believe we haven't touched is the live music. When you get off a plane in Nashville, you feel in the best way like you're on Broadway. Like
That's
it's a
right.
taste of what you came to the city for. And we've had the privilege of talking to some various musicians that work on Broadway on this podcast, and it is not easy to get your foot in the door in Music City. Everyone here is coming with a guitar case and a dream, right?
That's
so
right.
it is not an easy thing. How do you guys pick the talent? Because there are really talented musicians at the B&A airport.
We rarely have openings, to be very honest. When
Yeah.
we do, we start going back through our database, but music is such an integral part of what we do here. And I'm glad to hear you say Broadway, because we're the first and last impression of the city.
Sure.
So why not have the music that you will experience in downtown Nashville right here at B&A? So we're really intentional. When we bring in conferences, we want to know where they're from. We want to play the music that they're accustomed to.
Wow, I love
When
that.
we had the Ireland team here, we had music that we knew they would love. We had the dancers. We want people to feel immersed in the culture, not just B&A, but Music City and what Music City offers for each culture and how we're more together than we are different.
And you talked about the messages that keep playing. Like, I love the Olympics. I love gymnastics. So you have Sean Johnson
Yes.
on repeat down at the baggage claim. And I always am like, let's go. How do you pick the talent that you're going to have do that? Do they call you up and be like, I want to be on a loop at the airport?
You know, they don't. We typically go, I'll be honest, we typically go through, like, who are the A-list artists that are
Yeah.
from Nashville? Top chefs. We've just got
Yep.
tapped into that because we're becoming a huge
Oh, yeah, we're
culinary
foodie.
city.
Yeah.
So Nate Brzezinski, Music City, they reached out to us because he was interested. So we sent him the scripts and he recorded in no time. So from him to Sean Brock, Manique Chauhan, these are all names of people who are very interested. It takes them very little time to send back their message for us to play through here. So we typically start with our A-list, people that are from Nashville and people that are making a difference in Nashville. Because you'll also hear our mayor's voice as well when you come through the doors.
Stacey, I have a funny story that has stuck with me for years and years. So you have to indulge me in this.
Oh, no.
There was another airport that was dealing with really severe issues with the baggage claim. So passengers were having to wait forever, and the passengers at the end would score the airport really poorly because they were having to wait for 20 or 30 minutes for their bags. And it was, like you said, the first and last experience. It was not what they wanted. And so this airport really had limited control of what they could do with the baggage claim process. And so what they decided to do was to reroute the passengers as they were exiting from the terminals to make the walk to baggage claim longer intentionally.
Wow.
And by doing so, psychologically, the passengers ended up waiting less time at the baggage claim, and this airport satisfaction scores went through the roof because of this psychological element.
That's
and
right.
It stuck with me all these years because it just is amazing, the psychology that goes into the customer experience. And so where I'm going with that is, you obviously have control of some things, but there's so many things that happen here that you don't have control of. But all the same, people will hold you responsible for it
Absolutely.
and ask you for an answer. So how do you deal with that just personally and professionally? People don't want to hear that you can't control that element. So how have you had to manage that over the years?
I always look at it like an opportunity to educate the public. Yes, I would do the same thing if I didn't know. If I lost my bag, I'm calling B&A. So when they call, it's like, thank you for calling. We understand your concern. However, we're going to put you in touch with Southwest. Here's their baggage claim office. Please let us know if you have any other concerns. Immediately educating them, but also showing a little empathy, right? We've been there. I've lost a bag before.
Yeah.
So just showing the empathy, but educating them on the correct process. Because we go through it all the time. Same with concessions. We don't cook, but it's the airport, right? We want you to have a great experience. So we work very closely with our concessions team to figure out not only how you're like, or
Sure.
did you respond back, but what's the long-term resolution to make sure this doesn't happen again?
So Stacey, the immediate future is Concourse D.
That's
and
right.
we can see the evidence that that is about to be front and center for all of us. What happens beyond Concourse D? What then moves us kind of to the intermediate period?
So after Concourse D opens, Concourse A will then close. Not just close, it will be demolished. Once it's rebuilt, it will be our largest concourse here at B&A. So if you notice when you come up on 40, all the concrete is the same level where it used to be a drop, but we fill that space so that we can build out A completely.
Oh,
And we're going to have planes parking on both sides. Right now, you just see one side. In 2029, you'll see planes on both sides. 2 moving walkways.
wow.
Live stage. Ticket counters.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
And so that construction begins in like 2025, 2026, and is hoped to end 2029. Was that the right time frame?
Yes. So we're real, we try to stick to our deadline. So it's
Yeah.
going to end in 2029. But yeah, it's going to start towards the fall of
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
And then we're really looking forward to 2029. So you have to come back out, maybe come behind the scenes and take a sneak peek so that you can see how all of this comes together.
And having the hotel here is a really fascinating thing. And I just wonder what that experience has been like. Has that been successful? Is that something that there are any further plans for? Like, just walk us through that hotel addition.
I think the hotel was the missing piece to the puzzle. If you go anywhere in the country, you're staying at hotels. You see hotels at the airport. I don't know if it's because I work here or what. I could be biased, but it's probably one of the prettiest on-site airport hotels I've ever been in.
Yeah.
There's a rooftop bar, a pool, overlooks the runways, but there's 6 suites, and it's a really beautiful space. But the most important part is that if you're traveling from Alabama, if you're traveling from Kentucky, you have a 7 a.m. flight.
Yeah.
You now can stay here instead of waking up at 2 a.m. to try to get here to catch your flight. Again, taking away some of the anxiety, some of the stress that comes along with travel is by offering these amenities to meet travelers' needs.
I had a friend literally that left on a 4:30 flight this morning that had that exact experience, is that they stayed last night at the hotel, so that way they were able to get out of here at a reasonable time. So.
I'm staying tomorrow night with my husband and my son. We fly out Thursday morning at 7 a.m. And I live in Nolensville. So there you have it.
Yep.
So, Stacey, the way that we end each of these podcasts is I give you a short sentence with a fill in the blank at the end. And you can fill it in with a word or a short phrase that you feel like completes the thought. So here's number one, okay?
Okay.
The thing that sets BNA apart from other airports is blank.
The thing that sets BNA apart from other airports is our live music experience and our concessions.
Yes, ma'am.
You nailed that, Carly. That was a really good question.
Yeah.
We've arrived in the Bahamas sometimes, and you come out, and it is amazing what music does for your experience.
That's
and
right.
because it's our home airport, we kind of take it for granted. But that is so true. Two,
Okay.
what most people don't realize about airports today is blank.
What most people don't know about airports today is that every day airports are always seeking new air service. Every single day, airports across the country are always seeking new air service.
That's good. And then the last one, behind the scenes at BNA, one of the biggest challenges most travelers never see is blank.
Behind the scenes, what most travelers do not see is how the communications team is always trying to communicate the most accurate information on social media to the media to make sure that inaccuracies do not exist, to make sure people tell the truth about this airport.
That is not an easy task.
I would
For the
agree.
millions of people that you serve and how high volume. I mean, that is no small feat. So kudos to you and your team for that.
Thank you. If you could just go on social media, we can post something and they will have a whole narrative under our post and none of it's true.
Sure. You mean the internet's not completely fact checked?
I don't think so.
Oh, darn.
Stacey, it's a real privilege to get to have this conversation with you. Having to navigate the airport and the city through unprecedented changes is not an easy job. As we talked about earlier, you have to wear a lot of hats and have a lot of constituents to keep happy.
Right.
And on top of it, it's got to be profitable. And all of the pieces that you have to juggle, it really is fun to get to sit here with you, hear a couple of airport jokes. You know, we worked those in as as we went through this, but also see how seriously you take each and every passenger's experience. You control what you control. You can't control the things you don't control.
That's right.
But you do a great job in having a messaging that I think is very consistent with what people have come to understand Nashville to be, which is the South. We're welcoming,
That's
we'll
it.
feed you well, we'll
That's
smile, and we'll do everything you can to make your day great. So thank you for being with us, Stacey.
Absolutely. And thank you for inviting me.
Stacey Nickens, VP of Corporate Communications and Marketing for the Metropolitan Nashville Airport Authority. She has a big job.
Yeah.
She oversees a lot of what we take for granted in coming to the airport experience, where we really expect things to run on time and we need them to. Some of the stats are really crazy. B&A served 23.7 million passengers in 2024, an 8.4% increase from the year before. They're projected to hit the mid 20 million range in 2025 of passengers. On peak days, 90,000 passengers head through B&A. On August 5th, B&A will offer 114 nonstop destinations. clearly superior than 1 or 2 or 3 stop. If you have 3 stops in your itinerary, you need to fire whoever booked that plan for you immediately. I'll just put that on the record. And then B&A Vision, which was their plan from 2017 to 2023, was the airport's first expansion, launched after B&A surpassed 12.2 million passengers in 2016. That was at a $1.3 billion budget. And lastly, the New Horizons project that is going to be the expansion moving forward. Of course, 1.3 billion wasn't enough, so let's do $3 billion. And that brings B&A's total development since 2017 to $4.5 billion, which will also buy you approximately the cost of a Titan Stadium. So you can either have all of B&A's development or the Titan Stadium or both. You know, it's Nashville, so we'll do both of them.
Both and, please.
Yes.
Yeah, it is interesting when you take your airport experience for granted, which I think you do. We're really lucky to be coming in and out of here as often as we do. You forget that it is a business. I think she said there's 11,000 badged employees that make this place run, from construction to cleaning crews to people that serve food to security, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this is a small country. It feels like, to run and operate and keep going. And so I don't think I fully appreciated everything that went into our travel experience, because as humans, we're a little bit selfish when we travel. At least I am. I'm thinking about, where do I need to be? When do I need to be there? Please get our son off the floor. Don't lick that. Don't touch that. Wash your hands. Like, I'm not thinking about what goes into making it so easy. So I think I leave this just kind of grateful that we live so close to this airport.
I think for someone that specializes in communications, dealing with social media is especially tough. And when you deal with social media combined with what is usually a much more emotional experience for people, like high emotions or low emotions, angry emotions, you deal with a type of social media challenge that not a lot of other people could really relate to or speak to. And so I think that also was interesting to hear Stacey talk about how she manages the difference between the things she can control and the things she can't control, but also just recognizing that there's more than any one communications department can hope to tackle. But just by waking up every day and trying to create excellent experiences that mirror the city is the best way that she can serve the 90-something thousand people that are coming through an airport and are all going to have their own experiences, positive and negative, a lot of which is outside of B&A's control.
Yeah. I'm really floored just sitting here for as long as we have today. I have never taken the time to notice all of the art around and how lovely that is. We've got these really magical touches that you don't expect when you travel, and I really appreciate that. Something else I really enjoyed was her humor and her joyful spirit. That is not usually what I associate with airport travel. And just her personality in general gives me such hope and joy about this place, because if she is at the helm, I feel really good about it.